Let's start the game, shall we? Dun, 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 dun. The world's coffee consumption increased 20 times. Phenomenon called coffee mania reached its peak in the 40s, caused by huge turmoil in global
The world
economy.
of 2021 is ruled by coffee, and Neo London goes crazy for it.
I mean, sounds like today.
They say that in this job only two cases matter, the one that breaks you and the one that makes you a real cop.
Uh-huh.
I'm Arthur Oliver, and I'm a private investigator, but I used to be a cop here in Neo London.
This doesn't look like 2021.
I quit 10 years ago. I failed. I hoped I'd never come back here. I read about Richard Kersey's disappearance in the papers on a train journey. Coffee tycoon vanishes, the front page headline of the Neo London Espresso screamed. For many, Kersey was a wealthy celebrity buffoon, pure envy. They lost contracts and profits to him. They even lost their reputations as he dragged competitors through the courts.
Mm.
And me, I lost a lot more to him. Catherine, my beloved,
Oh no,
and his wife.
he lost so much.
10 years ago, Richard was involved in a spot of bother. He had a debt. Unfortunately for him, it was Kath who received the demands for payment.
Uh-huh.
Kersey happened to be abroad at the time, totally out of reach. She got scared and tried sorting it out herself, in cash. She asked me for help.
Of course.
Couldn't
Yeah.
do it in my official capacity, but I took my gun and set up a sting. It ended tragically.
Two things will wake you up: coffee and crime.
A few days ago, Henry called, Richard's older brother. He sounded down, just like me.
Okay, I know all about it, Arthur. You quit the force, you're still tormented by Kath's murder. Listen, Richard's daughter doesn't have to know anything about you two, nor Richard. But I'm begging you, help me find him.
All right.
I'll give you a flat to live in, some cash, and a cover story that you're a salesman. Just come, please.
Sounds like a nice gig. You get an apartment, some cash, a cover story. You get to pretend you're a salesman.
So I'm in Neo London again. The business with Catherine broke me. So maybe the case with Richard will be the one to make me a real cop again.
I'm a real cop.
Richard's disappearance was big news. There was speculation about mafia involvement, either Italian or Yakuza. I think there might be something in that.
Maybe.
Little Clarabelle, Richard and Kath's daughter. The last time I saw her was at her mother's funeral. I wanted to comfort her. Now it looks like it's her who wants to comfort me.
Oh.
She's so like her mother, especially her eyes. Can't forget watching the life draining out of Catherine's eyes.
There's
On
a
the way to
story
the
there.
hotel, Clarabelle told me her father might have been kidnapped by an angry competitor. It's a possibility. Kersey did all sorts of weird deals with even weirder people. Maybe one of them had enough of Richard's caprices. Over the phone, Clarabelle confirmed what Henry had promised. There was a flat and a position as a salesperson in their family business. That was to make investigating easier. Fair enough. Let it be. If that's what the investigation demands, I'll become the best damn salesperson in Neo London.
It'll be funny if we end up just being a regular salesperson and forget about our life as a cop.
I'll help
What was we
Clarabelle
doing
with
this
her
for again?
business. I'll find Richard. I'll find your killer, Kath. I won't let you down twice.
I won't let you down again, cat. Not again. Hundreds of coffee roasting plants, coffee providers, and companies specialize in a short time. The phenomenon has sourced Great Britain.
Dear
Right.
Arthur, thank you again for agreeing to work on this case in such unusual circumstances. As I mentioned during our last meeting, Uncle Henry and I suspect that one of my father's business partners must be involved in his disappearance, or at least knows something about it. We believe it would be best to work undercover and meet them offering a delivery contract. It's also better that a private investigation will remain as a secret. Check out the instructions I've left you and look around in your office. After that, meet me at my cafe. See you soon. Clarabelle Kersey.
All right. Welcome to your office. The place is the command center of your company and my fake company, and the investigation you are conducting. For the office view, you can jump to all game sections, and you have preview. All right. Cash, cost, and revenue. Am I? We could be running an actual business. I thought we'd be investigating coffee businesses, but no. You'll find the main financial results this week. When you hover over the given result, you'll see its explanation. The information gives you an overview of business situation. Oh, I think I might be blocking something. Let me fix that. And we're back. Access to the main sections of the company, the last report, and the tutorial. You can always minimize this menu. Alright. Let's learn to do business. Main sections of the company by clicking on them in the midst of the office if it's more convenient to you. Management, finances, to-do list, story pages, marketing, HR. I know some people that may need to play this game. Oh my god. You can check the list of required tasks on this board. During the gameplay, view tasks may appear on it. Click to view the list. Alright, cool. Task. Variable and sign a business contract. Alright, cool. Yeah. Connection between clues. Collect cash of at least 200,000 GBP. I think that's Great British pounds. And then reach weekly revenue of 30,000. Ooh, that's pressure. I was hired as a detective, not as an actual business person, but we'll do our best in this job. Welcome to the sales section. All right, cool. I'm blocking it again. Where's a good spot for me to not block it? In the section, you will find information about the available customers interested in your company's offer. There are also suspects. Ooh, under investigation. Each chapter of this story, you will find other customers here. Your goal is to meet every customer and sign a coffee supply contract. At least that's clear. What if the business fails while you're undercover? That's a good question. I think we're not supposed to let the business fail, Sushi. Thanks to this, you will not only get funds to support your business, but you'll also get clues in your investigation. I'll make a prediction that they're gonna offer us to man the business altogether after we finish our investigation, if we're successful. First customer interested in our offer. Classic standard production of coffee. Okay, so this coffee is classic standard. To attend the meeting, you must start producing coffee that the customer wants to buy. Alright, cool. We have stocks 16 units minimum and arrange the meeting. Meet with the client. Alright. Since all the conditions are met, the interview with Clarabelle has arranged and starts. Oh, we're a production company for coffee. I'm loving this game already. Let me change my introduction. Alright, there we go. New introduction. A dark and dangerous coffee business. She is a student and works in the family of coffee with a K. She wanted to earn some money for her own and help conduct the business. Clarabelle is a modest, sensitive, and warm-hearted dreamer. Okay. Head in the clouds, laughed at by her peers. She's a dreamer. Excessive trust and gullibility. Ooh. Biggest flaws: inexhaustible faith in people, gullible, excessive trust. Ooh, she has a tragic death, Catherine Kersey, after her father Richard Kersey went missing. She's trying to do everything to find him. Oh, there's a missing dad. Relation status blank. We're gonna figure that out. Business meetings. Much of the in-game conversations are business meetings where you offer your company's products and negotiate a price. Okay. An interview with Claribel Kersey will help you better understand your tasks, summarize the collected information. No. Available phrases to start. Oh, alright, I can talk to her. She's trustworthy and gullible, so I'll introduce myself.
Hello, Miss Claribel. The cafe looks great. Really bright, cozy, homely.
Hello. Thanks. The decor was my father's work. He was very careful to create a friendly atmosphere. Please don't call me miss.
Sorry, it's your hairstyle. You look so young, I couldn't help myself. But fine. First names only.
Great. Let's get down to business.
Let's get down to business.
I want to ask about your childhood. I know there are painful memories, but it's important for the case.
All right. I've had time to get some distance on it. How can I help?
Tell me, how you coped after your mother's death.
Well,
Ooh,
not
that's
too
right.
well. Dad hated talking about it. He worked a lot, went away a lot. And me? I remember lying there, crying. Mr. Pensy was with me. He took my temperature, brought me cups of tea. I was alone.
Any friends?
You were
School
alone.
psychologist?
I had this one friend, Amy. She came to cheer me up a couple of times, but I think I wore her out. I was incredibly shy as a child. The school psychologist sent me to a psychiatrist for medication. I was supposed to go there with an adult, but it never happened.
Why? Something changed. Something got better?
Mm.
Yeah, you could say it was thanks to Mr. Van Haven.
Hold on, I'll write this down.
Mr. Van
Who was
Haven.
it?
You?
Joseph Van Haven, Dad's friend from college. He and his wife Amanda offered to take care of me, together with his housekeeper. I was to sleep at my home, spend the day with them, mainly with Mrs. Fink, the housekeeper. Dad immediately agreed.
And you? Did you have any say in it?
I was a bit scared at first, but they were really nice. They were like
We
my
have
family.
a few suspects
still are.
already.
Thanks, Claribel. That's a lot of help. Can you give me a contact number for Van Haven and Fink? I'd like to ask them a few questions.
Sure, here you go.
All right.
Great. Who do you think
New
I should
leads.
meet first?
Mr. Van Haven. Visit him posing as a sales rep. Sell him some coffee. He's a really nice guy and a good candidate for checking your abilities.
Investigative abilities?
What abilities?
Business and negotiating. Remember that you operate undercover and you must be credible. Only then will investigative skills come in handy.
I feel like there's a lot of questions here.
What should I know about Richard's disappearance?
Neither I nor Uncle Henry have a clue what happened to my dad. Have you looked at the materials from the last meeting? Everything I know is in there.
I'm not sure I'm a negotiator.
Let's figure out.
How can I learn? Can it be learned?
Of course. Start with the handbook I gave you. The techniques in there are enough to get you your first clients. They won't be too demanding. After that, well, you know, practice makes perfect.
We're supposed to make a coffee
Did you
game.
have to say that?
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Explain the basics about running a business to me. Better still, as a manager, shouldn't I have a competent deputy? Then I can concentrate on, being a boss, and the deputy makes sure we don't go under.
Last time you said you always worked solo.
Me?
Makes a good
Are
point.
you thinking of someone else? There are lots of detectives called Oliver.
Take it easy, Arthur. No deputies. We don't have the cash for it. Start by visiting all the departments. You'll learn how to establish the scale of production, audit advertising activity, and plan expenditure, as well as team building and managing people.
This is
Huh.
normal good
So,
practice
I
when
might
you're
find
doing
a deputy?
business.
Of course, I'm sure you'll pick it all up faster than you imagine. A lot of our processes are automated, so you're not likely to cause any catastrophes.
You're sure good at encouragement. Okay, I'll give it a go.
You gotta immerse yourself into the business to figure out how it works and how you can make better decisions later on. But again, we're a detective, we're undercover, and we're pretending to be a businessman.
How do I set up a meeting with a client?
You can't just charge straight at it. First, you have to have a credible business proposition. To prepare that, you need to know what the client needs.
They always want the same. Something cheap and high quality.
It does feel like
More
I'm
or
a
less,
management
but
trainee.
it's a little more subtle than that. Give this list of Dad's contacts to the people in the management department. They'll set up the first meetings for you and get the clients interested, so you can practice your sales pitch.
All right.
So, then I go and see them and close the deal. Is that all?
That's about the half of it. Before meeting them, you have to find out who you're dealing with, so you know how to approach them. Preparation is vital to good negotiating. By assigning specific tasks to employees, you can get interesting information about clients that will be helpful during the meeting.
I see. Is there anything in this work that isn't vital?
Sure, a gun license for start.
You remember what we agreed yesterday. What do I need to know?
I reckon there's a business connection involved in my dad's disappearance. To find out who, you're going to have to get the London business community to trust you.
Pretending to be a sales rep, right?
Well, you're really going to become one. You're going to set up meetings, set up deals, and sign contracts. You'll be managing a team, planning budgets. It's the only way to be credible and get closer to the suspects. So, we need to practice sales meetings.
Can't
We
I
need to play this game
interrogate
to
them
get
the
away from
usual
work.
way? You know, put a gun to the temples like in the old days? I don't need to practice that, you know.
Focus, Arthur.
Okay, I was only joking. So I'm a sales rep, right?
Sales manager. And no, that doesn't mean you can use a gun.
I know everything now. Ask about market.
I don't really
go in
know
one
the
by
London
one.
coffee market. In fact, I don't really know anything about any market. How do I work out what coffee to produce and who to sell it to? Where do I find information about current...
In the sales section, look into the computer. You'll find contacts to clients, what brand of coffee they buy, and whether there is an appointment arranged.
Let's say I'm feeling...
Then it's time for a business meeting.
Mm,
Just dress up right and get to the right place on time.
okay.
One more thing. Let's say I sign a contract on poor terms.
Poor
then I become
terms.
a better negotiator, and I don't like the contract anymore. Can I break it?
Can you?
During the meeting, you can always opt out of signing the contract, or simply stop the conversation and leave.
The old
If after
classic,
signing
walk
you do
away.
not assign employees to service the contract, the client will terminate the cooperation after some time.
All right, I think we figured it out by now. I don't want to go through all the basics.
I know everything now.
Sure, I totally do.
Yes, we have to practice contract negotiating. As it happens, I need a fresh delivery. Let's roleplay the scene where you offer me a contract. Ready?
Couldn't be readier. Let's start. I
Let's
think I'm
start.
ready. Let's try a negotiation and point out anything I get wrong.
Yeah,
and when I
you learned
recover
well on
from
the
that,
job.
you can give me some more tips.
Okay, let's begin negotiating.
To begin negotiation, we gotta start somewhere. Wanna
Good morning. I've come to talk about supplying our
Compliment the
coffee to
person.
you. But if I'm going to talk about coffee with such a lovely lady, it will have to be over a coffee.
Oh dear, Arthur. Complimenting my appearance or flirting with me really isn't a good idea in a business context. I know you meant to be nice, but someone else might take it differently. Very differently.
All right.
Good morning. As we agreed, I've prepared a contract to supply classic standard coffee. Would you like to go over the details?
You wanted to disarm her.
That's not too bad,
But she's
clients
all
don't always
business.
want to get right down to business. It's worth creating a friendly atmosphere and demonstrating goodwill. You want to try?
We lost customer
Friendly
attitude.
and goodwill. That's me. Okay. I got this. Good morning. I've come about your coffee supplies, namely the classic standard. We can offer competitive terms and, what was next?
No, if you start like that, there's no way you'll succeed. You have to be prepared for negotiating and know what to start the conversation with. Improvising is okay too, but it has to be snappy.
There's no
I can do snappy.
Great,
pleasing
show
this
me.
boss.
Good morning. Is that coffee cake? That smells good enough to stop traffic.
Really? Thanks for saying so. We just finished baking it. Here it is.
Wow, it looks better than it smells. Did you make this, Miss Clarabelle Kersey, I presume? I've come to talk to you about coffee supplies.
We
Not
increased
bad,
the
Arthur.
customer
A well-judged
attitude.
compliment can work wonders. But some clients don't like them. Now do you see why doing your research on the customer is so important?
Yes,
Oh my God.
I knew you liked baking cakes, so I could mention it, but it's only a small thing from your private life.
Precisely. Everything can be useful during negotiations.
I didn't know this game would be so in-depth.
Can we move on to establishing the terms of the agreement? What does a contract like this look like?
Here's a standard contract. Here, look.
Show the contract. Oh no, it's an actual business contract. 54% sales margin is nice, actually. It's not bad. Vendor, client, delivered product, classic standard, contract terms, contract. Management required 35 hours. Quantity 16, duration 20, revenue weekly, profit weekly. That's a lot of profit. How costs and the generated profit change at different price settings. Ah. You can freely set the price moving slider. If you set it price, the customer will reject it. After setting the price, make offer. Let's keep bumping it up. Nope, 56. Nope, too high. Okay. Alright, this seems fine. More revenue. Make offer.
Good, that looks acceptable. Be prepared that the client will want to renegotiate the terms here. Assume that they're going to ask for a price lower by this percentage. How are you going to persuade me your offer is already attractive enough?
Emphasize the low unit cost per pack of coffee. A silly money tactic, or agree to a lower price if they order more. Door in the face tactic. Yeah, it's the second one makes sense to me. After right, okay, if they buy more, try to choose prices and negotiation technique so that the price discount is as low as possible and therefore the price per unit is as high as possible. All right, yeah. This never works. The low unit cost per pack of coffee never works because they know that they computed for that. So that's why they're asking for a discount. But if you agree to lower the price, if they order more, they might just agree.
You want a lower unit cost. We can do that, but only under certain conditions.
Such as?
We can do it if you order 3 times this amount, or if you extend the period of the agreement. That's the only way it's worthwhile for us.
Those are pretty steep demands.
Perhaps it's better to consider the initial price again.
I feel a little backed up against a wall. I don't feel like you're treating me like an equal partner. The tactic can be effective, but it's risky. They might see you as being rude and you'll lose the chance of further contacts.
Good point. Good point. Go back to
Let's look at the
quality.
price in relation to quality. Everything about our coffee's top drawer: taste, aroma, and certification. Coffee like that at a price like this is a real bargain.
Let's assume I will agree for such discount. Every supplier claims his or her coffee is the best. How are you going to support your claims so they don't come across like empty boasts?
Some facts and figures to prove that this discount is a sensible bargain.
There you go, Arthur. That's how you support your credibility and generate client trust. But it would be better if you actually knew some data. For a first go at negotiating, that went pretty well. Let's say I'll sign the contract, but I have one more proposal: the first month's batch for lower price. Agreed?
Propose altering the contract to suit a client. All right, let's try this method.
Let me think about that. I can do you a month's free supplies if you'll extend the contract. How about that?
Of course. That's a great move, Arthur. That defense doesn't cause any discomfort or disappointment to the client by refusing his or her request, and you stand to gain by it. But seriously, let's agree to this discount. I
Discount's
think that
getting
covers
smaller.
everything.
I agree.
Now it's time to put it into practice, both as a business person and a negotiator. Make sure you swat up on the materials and look at this week's tasks.
Oh my god.
Thank you. I'm sure it will all prove helpful in this investigation and in finding your father.
Yeah.
See you
So-
soon, Clarabelle.
Thanks,
All
Arthur.
this business is
It means
going
a
to
lot to
totally
me.
help.
Now it's
in
up to
finding
you,
her
and
father.
I think you're the last hope I've got.
See the signed contract. This is how we're gonna find her father, guys. No, sign it. The customer agrees to the arrangements. He or she signs the contract. He has to review the terms. Nah, sign it. $7,000 GBP will be regularly transferred to your account within the next 20 weeks. It's not bad. Hitting 30,000 a week shouldn't be that bad. Take care to handle this contract by assigning employees to the appropriate task in management section. You can view the contract. All right. Okay.
I should sum up what happened after that meeting.
Click on the comic icon for the fragment of the story. Ooh. All right. So we're doing business, but at the same time, we are looking for clues to a disappearance or murder investigation.
Someone important lives here. That's what the Kersey home seemed to be saying. This is where the investigation begins. Walking in, Clarabelle hugged herself. From the cold? Cute. Clarabelle only slept here, though. After her mother's death, she was taken in by Joseph Van Haven, her father's friend, who treated her like his own daughter. His wife tried. Mostly, though, she left her to the housekeeper, Mrs. Fink. Why did the Van Havens raise the Kersey kid? A friendly favor? Guilt.
Why indeed?
The servant greeted Clarabelle with a stack of unopened letters. She stuffed them into her bag and went inside. A lot to catch up, I joked. And Clarabelle explained that she no longer lives in the residence with her beloved. I asked for a family photo of the Kerseys. There was an exotic-looking guy in the midst of a sea of pale Brits. Mr. Gabriel was an artist who taught Clarabelle to draw. He looked pretty stiff, probably trying to avoid her dreamy eyes.
Are you falling in love with her, detective?
In the living room, among many works of art, a spot after a taken-down painting drew my attention. It was a peculiar view. Clarabelle told me the painting belonged to her mother, One day, Richard simply packed it up and took it to Joseph. Did he want to sell it? Hide it? I didn't get a chance to ask. Clarabelle answered an urgent call and, apologizing, left in a hurry. I went to gather my thoughts. Catherine's death, Richard's disappearance, the unusual arrangements with the Van Havens, that picture. Clarabelle was right. A detective was needed here. But I have my own reason for this. To get Catherine's killer. All in good time. The last lead is Richard's disappearance. Perhaps the best-known coffee supplier in London.
Perhaps.
I'll start by entering into his world. That means turning into a businessman.
Like, it was so hard.
My first customer will be Richard's old friend and Clarabelle's ward, Joseph Van Haven. Clarabelle gave me his address and phone number. He's an old, experienced trader. I'd better prepare thoroughly.
Okay, so we have our next potential
I
customer.
need to check the investigation board.
New clues. As you learn a new part of the story, you gain new clues and information for your investigation.
Now I need to set the new clues and data on the board.
Alright. Key observations always contain a few marked details, so it's worth analyzing them. Alright, here we go. Combine with others. Ah. The exclamation mark next to the photo indicates unread information. New information can also appear. Click on the Polaroid. Okay, the character will display its description. Oh, this is gonna be an in-depth game. Richard and Kate's daughter. She is so like her mother, especially her eyes. Organize information collected so far in the graph. Analyze events and information and how they relate to each other to complete the investigation must discover the entire graph. Alright. This is gonna be a lot to go through. Start a new brand product, Espresso Standard. $25 this week, Bob, because you've got less satisfaction. Alright. Set up a business. We've sent all the orders. Alright. Yes. Week 4. Clarabelle. Friendly personality, conversation with them, full stories, digressions, even this one from private life. Hates corporate jargon and too professional, pompous approach who makes him really upset. Alright, okay. Hates corporate jargon. Started work as a purchase and supply specialist. Recently became the father, studied at London school. Got it. He doesn't like pompous talk, so.
Good morning, Mr. Van Haven. Arthur Oliver. I'd like to talk to you about our coffees. Clarabelle Kersey recommended I speak to you. She said she knows you well.
Ah, yes. Welcome. Welcome. Naturally, I was expecting you after Clary phoned. Sweet girl, isn't she?
Lovely. Actually, really lovely, considering what she's been through at such a young age. The stuff about her parents. It's true, isn't it?
Sadly, yes. A terrible, brutal thing for such a child. You see, her parents were friends of mine. After Catherine died and Richard usually been absent, my wife and I did all we can to provide a normal upbringing for her. You've seen yourself how, despite all this, Miss Kersey is doing very well.
Oh, yes, and she's a tough negotiator.
I taught her well. She could always get you to read for one more hour, go for one more walk, or give her a bigger portion. It comes in very useful as an adult, but you don't have all day to listen about the young Kersey girl. Let's take a look at what you've brought with you. I can't wait to see.
All right. I remember one of my old college professors that you always deviated whenever we wanted her
Nice
to
photo.
talk about her kids.
From your student days?
Yes, being young is wonderful when the world is your oyster.
You speak as if it's over.
What? You mean I don't look like it? You are a card, Mr. Oliver. Well, I do try to move a bit so as to not become totally desk-bound.
It shows. And the man next to you, isn't that Richard Kersey?
The very same. He was my best friend at university and since. And these are our charming wives. Actually, our fiancés then. Catherine Seeger and Amanda Okote.
You look a close bunch.
We were, then, but life writes strange scenarios. The best of friends can fall out over the silliest things, and other people are worth forgetting.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's true.
I keep the picture to remember the good times. Let's return to the here and now. Mr. Oliver, things are looking up.
Oh.
Congratulations on the birth of your daughter. I hope both the mother and baby are doing well.
Ah, thank you. Both in good health, and so similar. I tell you, they look like sisters. It's amazing how a person passes on their genes and then watches as they live their own life.
His attitude has
It
increased.
seems you're enjoying your new role.
Not at first, but it's getting better and better. Despite my super condition, I'm not as young as I was, and the little one demands so much attention, just like our business. Let's get down to it, shall we?
All right. Loosely present the product is good because he doesn't like corporate jargon. So,
We're new on the market, but we have a lot of experience in the field. We have a unique variety of coffee, trusted suppliers, and top quality equipment. We offer excellent quality at a good price. Miss Clarabelle has already dealt with us, and she's sure not to sell you a pup.
That's great. Quality is my top priority, and that's what I taught
75%.
Clarabelle, so it's a recommendation of sorts. And if we're talking about quality, my wife bought me a cigar not long ago. Came in a carved wooden box, well-known brand, and the aroma, aromatic tobacco like from the top drawer.
Like it got chucked in there by accident?
Precisely. It was filthy. After smoking it, I felt so nauseous, I spat it into the bin. I opened all the office windows and even had to use air freshener, so it's best if we both assess the quality. It's hard to find these days.
fair.
I used to be interested in the effect of different cultures on negotiations. In Japan, there is a need for distance. Don't even dare to look someone in the eye. It's even harder with the Swedes. They're so serious. Oh, this is a good one. Do you know the difference between an introvert Finn and an extrovert one?
I really have no idea.
The first, throughout the whole conversation, looks at his shoes. The second looks at yours. It's a good one, isn't it?
I wonder if that's true at all. Well, I guess we'll find out. Comment on Joseph's joke and return to the sales pitch.
Well, you can learn so much from visiting a client. But anyway, to get back to the aim of my visit, can we discuss the deal?
But of course, I was
88.
rambling. But you have to admit, it's a fascinating aspect of business.
Customer attitude at 88%. Let's bump up our sales margin. 59.93. What's impossible? 59.93. It's fine. This is fine. Congratulations, make the offer. This is gonna be hard.
Your proposal exceeds my current capabilities. I suggest we cut the delivery charges or just lower the product cost to compensate them. The price on the contract will then be lower by this percentage. That's a sensible concession, and I really can't offer any more than that.
One of several falls. That's not a good plan. Tactic of complimenting. Role reverse. Beginner salesperson. Let's try this one because he seems like a person who wants to talk about stuff.
That's too high a price for such a new company like mine, Mr. Van Haven. The market is saturated, and that's why we want to compete on quality, not price. When you were starting out, would you have agreed to these terms?
Unfortunately, yes, I would. My first contract was a disaster, but I thought that was the way it was. It's difficult at the beginning, but don't lose heart. Solid arguments can soften the heart of even the hardest businessmen. Do you have any?
Good. Refuse to reduce the price. Alright, sure. Cut in supply price. Dolphin sheep's clothing. I don't know. I'm gonna try to use this one again.
Well, definitely our quality, which we have to persuade our suppliers about. They're very distrustful. Lots of them don't even want a meat like this. That's why I'm so grateful to you for being open to try new things. I'd like to earn your trust, but not at the cost of such a price reduction.
I understand you. When I started out, someone believed in me and trusted me too.
Ooh,
Maybe
nice.
that will happen
You got
here
it.
too if you can offer me a better deal. Let's start with cutting the delivery charges. They're the easiest thing to resign from to cost the value of the contract by this much.
Alright. Ask if Joseph has any doubts and needs to consult with anyone. Emphasizes it isn't the one that should have any doubts. Yeah, this one.
We both know your offer is too expensive.
And that's where you're wrong, Mr. Oliver. I have a boss too, and I can tell you, he wasn't at all convinced about our meeting.
Alright. No, I'm fine with lowering the delivery charge. This is why I increased the price of the asking.
Okay, Mr. Van Haven. I can agree to those terms.
Great! You worked me hard, but I think the prospects for collaboration look interesting. Let's sum up what we've established and sign the forms.
You think he's just bluffing?
I should sum up what happened after that meeting.
Let's figure out how to connect the dots.
Van Haven's a good businessman. He welcomed me like an old friend and led me past the pictures. Clients were supposed to see signs of Joseph's education and worth. But me? I spotted a young, cocky Richard with my Catherine. She had no idea what she had coming. The other woman was Amanda Van Haven. It must have been through their being two young married couples at the same time that Richard and Joseph became such close buddies. Joseph watched as I examined the photos. He smiled, apparently at the memories. He'd played this scene out hundreds of times. He told the story of what a close bunch they were, until the girls fell out over a trifle. What trifle? It's not even worth mentioning, Nor anyone else, he added. Was he talking about the third woman in the picture?
Ooh. Let's find out.
It puzzled me. Catherine never mentioned a conflict with Joseph's wife, Amanda Van Haven. And I never asked. I was, too busy falling in love with Kat. What trifle broke their long-term friendship? I wanted to ask after the negotiations. The telephone interrupted us. The call was from George McFowle with an urgent matter. Joseph chuckled. Another golden opportunity. And lifted the receiver. He pointed to his watch. It looked like it was going to be a long call. I nodded, gestured I'd give him a call, and left. It wasn't a good meeting. Van Haven kept talking right over me. On purpose? Or was he taking pity on me? Am I really that bad a salesperson? Regardless, he didn't tell me anything new about Richard's disappearance. At least he bought some coffee, though. Still, he seemed too cheerful to me as for someone whose close friend had gone missing recently. Or maybe they were friends in the past tense, just as he worded it by chance during our talk. One more thing was still troubling me. That missing painting from the Kersey's living room. Did its disappearance have anything to do with the case? And why did Richard take it to Joseph?
Why indeed? Click on the business card. I could click on it.
Clarabelle might know the answers. I rang and asked her. She thought the painting was a memento from the founder of the family, Shallard Kersey, 18th century.
Oh.
Why did it get sent to Joseph? She didn't know.
Van Haven.
So back to Van Haven. I called, pretending to be the Kersey's lawyer. Mr. Van Haven, I've been instructed by Clarabelle Kersey to draw up an inventory of the family's works of art. He bought it, so I asked. If he still had Richard's painting, he muttered something about calling back and hung up. Why?
It's a good question. Why?
Joseph's reaction suggested the painting was a good lead. I need to check it out discreetly. I'm curious about the other blonde in the photo. Why did the jovial Van Haven avoid mentioning her?
He has secrets he wants to keep.
Perhaps I'd get to ask her soon myself. Case closed for today. Time to get my head round the supplies for the new contract.
Now it's time for me to make coffee so I can have them delivered.
I need to check the investigation board.
Who's this?
This is a good lead, but the information may cost me a lot.
We gotta go to this meeting.
Good morning, Mrs.
Let's
Fink.
get straight down to
Good
business.
day, Mr. Oliver.
I'm very grateful you found time to meet me today.
Well, it wasn't easy. But
Wasn't
I
it?
also have a fish to fry here.
Excellent. Let's get down to brass tacks then.
By all means.
She's a nanny? She's somebody's nanny? This it is the Noir era. 30s maybe? 20s. Blonde from the photo in Van Haven's office. I don't think she likes detracting, so I'm just gonna go straight for it.
You've been in your boss's office.
Of course.
No doubt.
Mr. Van Haven.
Yes, of course. I saw the
She's
photograph from
very
his
strict.
graduation there. You know the one.
Perhaps.
There are several people in it. I recognize them all but one. Icy blonde. Mr. Van Haven didn't want to speak about her. Why?
I'm not surprised. It's Britt Damaltfist. I have
Ah,
nothing to say about that woman.
we finally have a
So
name.
you know her then?
I thought
Only
it's
from the photo, like you. That's all.
very ironic. Oh my god, dude, this is a. How do I describe this game?
You looked after the Kersey's daughter, didn't you?
I
It's
did.
very high level.
I don't have children, but I stood in for her mother as best I could.
I'm sure you did. Clarabelle impressed me a great deal.
Uh,
You can understand, losing...
You too. People are too gentle with her. Miss Kersey was raised in conditions that many children could only dream of.
My
So she wanted
fake
for
identity
nothing.
has to be really, really real.
Nothing at all.
How long have you worked for the Van Havens?
I do not.
Okay. I like my work too.
In 1 month.
Wow.
19
Impressive.
years.
Not really. I simply do what is required of me.
He doesn't like me anymore. It's
Reliably
down to
and
33%.
discreetly?
Just so.
And yet
I have my reasons. And any secrets I might tell you. They pose no threat to the Van Havens.
There. I can't get her to
I know Richard
like,
Kersey
give out
and
the
Mr. Van
secrets.
Haven were friends.
Pfft. Maybe they were once.
Oh,
But their wives? Did Catherine Kersey and Amanda Van Haven get on well?
Them? I think they tried to maintain a level of decorum, in spite of everything.
I'm hearing drama.
Was there any conflict between them?
Nothing they ever mentioned. But before Kersey disappeared, there was that strange incident with the picture.
Oh,
Picture?
What picture?
Oh, forgive me. I was miles away. I worry an awful lot about how terribly expensive everything is getting. This damn government should be run out of office.
She's changing
Don't you agree?
topics.
Financially, I don't think you should have anything to worry about.
Very well. Shortly after his wife's death, Kersey brought Mr. Van Haven a picture. It was purportedly a family heirloom. Priceless.
Oh,
Interesting. What happened?
Kersey was afraid of something. He asked for the painting to be looked after. Mr. Van Haven agreed at first. But then, you know how it is.
what is?
No. How is it?
Just think about it. Her husband never liked art. Then all of a sudden there's an enormous painting hanging in the living room. He suddenly got interested in interior design. You understand? Mrs. Van Haven is a smart woman.
She thinks
She
he's
was
cheating on
suspicious
her.
from the get-go.
I
But then
presume
there's a
Mr.
picture.
Haven didn't stand a chance.
Men never do, Mr. Oliver. He admitted he was only looking after the painting as a favour to Kersey. And when he mentioned what it was worth, and that it belonged to Catherine,
It's mine now.
Poor guy.
well, Mrs. Van Haven was furious. You could see that such an ostentatious reminder of a dead woman upset her. She ordered her husband to get rid of it immediately. Immediately.
Immediately. But now where is it? Where is
So
this
what
expensive
became
painting?
of the painting?
First, Mr. Van Haven tried to return it, but Kersey wouldn't hear of it. He said that, after Catherine's death, he couldn't have the painting in the house.
But Mr. Van Haven had to listen to his wife, didn't he?
He did, and the painting disappeared. I don't know what became of it.
We'll find out.
Mrs. Fink, you're priceless.
It would be rude to deny.
I doubt
Mrs.
she wants to
Fink,
talk about anything.
is there anything else you want to tell me about? A clue or a piece of evidence that might help crack the Kersey case?
There is something. But the information will cost you.
I'm ready for that.
That
hate
photo you
costs.
saw in Mr. Van Haven's office. Or rather, its print.
Go on.
This is it. Do you know whose face has been scraped off it?
Ooh.
Wait, that's Catherine Kersey, isn't it? Signed Viper.
Precisely.
Where did you get it?
From Mrs. Van Haven's personal album. She thinks she lost it, but won't ask the staff, of course. Keeping a photo like that would be a little strange, to say the least.
You mentioned it might cost me. How much for the photo?
That's why I met you. I want this much for it.
Why is this always a negotiation? Oh, there's
That's
no negotiation.
fine by me,
All right.
Mrs. Fink. That's a fair price. And if it leads me to Kersey, it will even be a noble act.
Do you have any idea how much I paid at the hairdresser's last time? I've had the same style for 20 years, and they tried to rip me off like some naive tourist.
Where did
That's
that come from?
scandalous, Mrs. Fink. Allow me to cover the costs of your next visit.
And the colouring? I can't look like I was getting old now.
I'll
Of
give
course,
you
the
a
coloring too.
makeover,
Will that
Mrs.
do it?
Fink.
It'll have to. I'm not a beggar, Mr. Oliver.
It never crossed my mind, Mrs. Fink.
Good luck, Mr. Oliver. That is all I have for you.
This is
Farewell.
how they deal with getting information now? That evidence is not admissible.
Need to. This is a good lead, but the information may cost me a lot.
That's a lot of money. Okay, so this guy. Circumstances of the meeting. Yeah, let's go with this.
Hello, Mr. Pensy. Thank you for agreeing to meet and to discuss such sensitive matters for you.
Good day, Mr. Oliver. What matters are you speaking of?
The deaths of Catherine and Richard's disappearance.
Ah.
Yes, I have a few questions for you.
I should have started with
Naturally.
complimenting his house.
I would ask only that this conversation stayed between you and I. How can I help you?
What exactly is your name, Mr. Pensy?
What a peculiar question.
I mean your first name. I'm just curious. Clarabelle couldn't tell me. To her, you're just Pensy.
My first name is... What is all this nonsense, Mr. Oliver? Get to the point.
Oh, God.
Of course.
We lost.
I was curious. What does the famous Kersey coffee taste like?
Small
Are you
talk. Would it
asking
work?
if I ever tasted it?
Well,
Ah, we're
Did you?
losing favor.
With my blood pressure, it wouldn't be recommended.
but you did try it.
I did.
I knew it. What was it like?
Well, it was a long time ago.
But you must remember.
I'd rather not.
Fine.
Mrs. Fink mentioned that after Catherine's death, Richard gave Joseph a picture to look
We keep-
after.
I keep
Apparently, it
creating
stirred
the
up a
wrong
heap of trouble.
Dialogue
That old tart.
options.
She spoke to you. That's how she treats professional secrecy.
You know the story?
The picture? I do. There was a bit of a fuss.
Good. Tell me all about it.
What do you want to know?
How large is the picture?
Quite large. About a square meter or so. It was intended to attract attention, and it did an excellent job.
I see. What is it of?
The Kersey's first coffee plantation, the one in Guyana, from where the family's fortune derives, or at
Ooh.
least what's left of it when Mr. Richard returns.
Aha, so the picture shows a coffee harvest.
Yes, I suppose so.
Is there anything else I should know about the picture? Anything special about it?
I told you it was a triptych, didn't I?
No. What's that?
Triptych, guys?
A painting on 3 canvases.
I suppose
The
he's
central
explaining.
piece is the largest and presents, as it were, the heart of the picture. The smaller canvases supplement it. They apparently place the center image in more context, give it depth. All I cared about was that it wasn't dusty.
That's very interesting. Mrs. Fink said nothing about it being in 3 parts.
Ah,
When the Van Havens got it, it wasn't. At the beginning of the last century, Mr. Richard's grandfather gave the side canvases to the British Museum. Only the centerpiece remained with the family.
why would
How
you
did
do
Richard
that,
come
though?
by it?
Lionel Kersey, Mr. Richard's father, gave it to Miss Catherine as a wedding present.
Wouldn't he have inherited it anyway after his father's death?
I suppose so. But maybe, perhaps Mr. Lionel also wanted rid of it for some reason.
You think so?
No, but you have to admit it's a possibility.
I'm
But
all
where is
ears,
it
Mr.
now?
Pensy. What is this information?
Someone else may be looking for the picture, Mr. Oliver. It is important to me that Mr. Richard doesn't lose his family heirloom.
And so that's why he wanted to store it at the Van Havens, to protect it from theft.
So I suspect.
Hmm,
I see. Who else wants it?
the plot thickens.
The person in question is most likely George MacPhail. He asked me once if I knew anything about the story connected with the painting. He's an acquaintance of Mr. Richard since way back when. He's an interesting type, if I can describe him so.
Why would he be looking for it? Selling a well-known picture like that means you're almost sure to get caught.
Sell it? No, not at all. You see, this is no ordinary picture.
So what's special about it?
What do you mean?
Mr. Richard appreciates fine alcohol, if you get my drift. Mr. MacPhail, too. One evening, they appreciated some whiskey so enthusiastically they woke me up. I went to ask if everything was all right, and it was then when I heard Mr. Richard say, apparently the picture holds a secret.
Oh no, Nicholas
So
Cage's
the
after it.
picture may be more than just a keepsake. That's a puzzle.
We do not need
next
to
national
solve it,
treasure.
Mr. Oliver. Please, just get the picture back. When Mr. Richard returns, I want him to see I've looked after the family's interests.
Everybody's sus in this game. What the hell?
Thanks, Mr. Pensy. Something eating you?
Of late, I've had some unplanned expenses. As a gentleman, I'd rather not go into the details.
Uh-huh. Were these details expensive?
Fairly.
Would this much compensate you for all the stress?
Perhaps. That and your assurance that this conversation will remain between us.
And my money will remain between us, too.
It would appear so. Thank you for your understanding, Mr. Oliver.
Maybe I could keep more of my money if I just don't piss them off as much. Like their attitude's down to 25%.
I need to check the investigation board.
Alright,
Now I need to set the new clues and data on the board.
more clues. Manually or use complete investigation in this chapter. History of the painting that showed the beginning of his family's fortune. Secret information was encrypted in the painting. Somebody else is after the painting because of the secret in there.
No, this won't work.
Alright, auto connect. What? Find all the connections. It's going to charge me 10,000 for the stupid connections. She lives with her beloved. Is her beloved Gabriel?
No, this
That's
won't
not
work.
it. Coffee plantation in Guyana. George McFowl.
No, this won't work.
Damn it. I've used up all my connections. This way. Richard's father. I'll figure it out a bit more. Let's move the investigation forward, boys. I think we've done what we can for recouping money.
I got back late today. I poured a glass and turned on the TV. It wasn't a good idea.
Breaking news. Joseph Van Haven, the coffee entrepreneur, has been reported missing.
Oh, that's why my contract's gonna go away.
Just like recently another coffee supplier and close friend of his, Richard Kersey, was. Maybe someone will start looking for them before we run out of coffee here in London.
Ooh, such a huge issue.
What are the police doing? All I see is them standing in line outside the Black Mug. Can't the Kerseys afford a private investigation? I thought they were rich.
Van Haven? First, he hangs up when asked about the painting. Now, he disappears. He can't be
Yes.
hiding from me. If he's in hiding. If he's even still alive.
Process.
I've got to make headway with this case. Funny thing, it seems that this investigation will need me to make and spend a lot of money to get anywhere near the truth. Going bankrupt with the company means the end of the investigation.
So convenient. I have to make and spend more money to continue my stupid investigation. Oh my god, life as a detective is so hard.
Where the hell is that sly dog Richard? Whose toe did he step on? Did he willingly abandon his daughter in Neo-London for good? Is it one of those cases where the truth is hidden and tangled in a decades-old web spined by guilt, hate, money, and broken promises or badly ended friendships?
My dude is not sleeping at all. Maybe it's all the coffee. Let's see. Good, good. No debt. Revenues, check. Accumulated costs. Bang. Cash is 100k. Investigation costs were 15,000.
Dear Arthur, I hope you don't have too much trouble with all this managing and selling coffee stuff. It's a crazy idea, but it may work. I've heard you're already winning the trust of the coffee entrepreneurs Richard has worked with. I know Clarabelle has given you all the needed information. Forgive me for not contributing more, but I prefer to keep my head down due to present circumstances. I've also heard on TV about Joseph missing. Did you talk to Clarabelle about it? She must be devastated, as Joseph was more like a father to her. Sadly speaking, contrary to Richard, she could always count on Van Haven. I'm sure these same bastards are behind Joseph's disappearance. He was Richard's only friend, after all. I fear even more for my brother, and now also for Clarabelle. I know I'm asking you for another favour, but I'm begging you, keep an eye on her and be careful who you trust. In this corrupt city, everyone has their own fishy issues. Stay on your guard, and good luck.
Everybody
Henry
just wants
Kersey.
coffee in this city. What the hell are you talking about?
So, what do I have to deal with this week?
Alright. A new chapter of the investigation has begun. Existing contracts have been terminated. New clients are available in the sales department. Oh, thank God. Suspects in your investigation. Meet them and sign a contract to get new clues. Really? This is the worst detective cover ever. Some income is good income, right?
Good morning, Mr. McFowle. Arthur Oliver. We had an appointment. I'm really pleased to meet you because I heard you're a hard man to pin down. Are you...
Good morning, Arthur. A true businessman is always travelling
All right.
towards his next goal. Business, you see, is like a capricious lady. It
So after a
demands
good start,
constant attention.
he increased his attitude.
Without it, it soon goes to pot. I know a lot of women like that, if you understand me.
But of course, do any of these ladies enjoy a good black coffee? I have a splendid variety for you.
Perhaps if its price is equally splendid. I'm always...
Economics.
I have to admit, I fell into business without any training. I suppose you knew exactly what you were doing when you decided to study economics.
Nothing of the sort. As a young man, I dreamed of being an actor, but it's hard to make a living at. Economics was a more sensible option. After graduating, I could start earning immediately and have time for theatre after work. At least, that's what I thought.
Some artists go that route.
It didn't happen?
No, I did return to the theatre after my studies, but not to the stage. I became the manager.
I
Yeah, took a
heard you
pass.
used to be in...
Why the past tense?
He likes it.
True passion.
Oh, yes.
Bravo!
Alright. Brand recognition in business.
You're one of the best-known business...
Is that what they're saying about me this week? Of course, being known brings certain benefits. The right surname can open many...
Alright, we're stuck at 75%.
I'm sure you know all the
attitude.
things I've heard of.
I may have.
Mr. Van Haven, for one.
Ah, good old...
Just as I thought.
I'm sure you'd like... Of course. You ask as if Richard...
Legend.
Yes, that fairy tale...
No.
Shaman coffee. Alright,
But
we're
of
here.
course. In the age of great explorers, she'll...
Wow. Your interpretation is so...
It is, isn't it? And yet, it's a lot of nonsense. 300-year-old marketing, that's all.
That's all.
And yet...
Their arrogance, more like. The conviction that they are something special. Richard told me the tale is a legend, but it was obvious he wanted to believe it.
Thanks. That's an interesting observation.
All my observations...
Personalized offer.
Our philosophy is...
I like it. McFowle's cough. You...
Tartan,
That's a-
yes. I remember that.
Precise.
Let George continue.
Yes, those were the days.
Go back to the sales
Mr.
page by
McFowl, a team like that would be...
referring
You see,
back
sir?
to his sales. Contract terms. Contract terms are better this time around. Come on, what's normal? 53.15. 53.30. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I'll take that. Take that offer.
Ma, you've kept me talking, Mr. Oliver.
It's
better
hard for me to
trust.
talk.
So you think you're an expert?
Trying to impress. The familiarity with the market. Let's try. Alright, this.
A fine retort.
Right. Position against the competition.
We can't kick off our relationship by costing you money. As far as discounts go, we prefer to compete on quality. Carries from Scotland recently signed several contracts for Common or Garden Robusta as if it were top-class Arabica. That would never happen with us.
I appreciate that. However, I made some
It dropped,
investments
yeah.
recently.
That's good.
I'm trying to turn around a small theatre company, so I'm a little strapped for cash right now. I'm keep...
Marketing support.
Collaborating with us could be great for your image. Customers love our gadgets, and our partners' limited edition packs go for really good prices. We could even create a new unique pack and give you this discount.
That's excellent.
All right.
I'm fond of beautiful one-off items myself, and your marketing experience could come in handy. Just make the price this lower. That's my best offer.
All right, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Okay, but our
take
collaboration had better be perfect.
Yeah, this is fine. Almost at 100% of what the price could be. Yes.
I should sum up what happened after that meeting.
Okay, let's put up new clues for a murder mystery.
The legend of the coffee fortune. So, McFowl is also telling the Kerseys fairy tales. He gave me the slip, and the contract was wrapped up by his secretary. Very glamorous. Her name's Lori.
The dude's a boss who likes theater.
Glamorous Lori heard the
Hey,
mention of Van
ironic.
Haven. He's the boss's pal. The boss warned him about that, you know.
I wasted too much time talking to this client, so I wasted a week and had to reschedule another negotiation meeting. I was able to close it when you got in, so
That Kersey construction, she
there
meant
were
the
like
pyramid
4
scheme.
weeks where we weren't
Damn
making any
yours.
money. My cash reserves are running
I
low.
took the contract and went after McFowl. He did say he'd help Joseph in his business.
Are you doing
He saved him from Richard's dodgy
tests
deal, so they all
on
know
your-
one another.
on your new rigs?
Okay, but why did McFowl warn Joseph? He looks and talks like a pretty good con man himself.
Everybody's sus.
Suddenly, I heard him. Whoever he was talking to, he was pretty pissed off. I tried to catch what it was about. Did you see that article? People are talking about it again. It was written by Baptiste. We have to act fast. I watched as he disappeared on the train to another deal of a lifetime. For him, at least. I tried calling the number last dialed, but unfortunately, George's interlocutor didn't want to pick up the receiver. I arranged a meeting with Henry to ask him about Richard's pyramid scheme. If his brother had been behind it,
There's a
Henry must
pyramid
have known.
scheme.
He did know, of course. They dreamt up the swindle together. To begin with, it went pretty well. But greed got the better of them, and in court they were buried by an anonymous witness. Who?
Oh. Oh, they have a mysterious witness.
The Kersey's family contacts pointed to Britt, the other blonde from the photo. Why did Britt rat on him and Richard, her friend from uni? Time to pay her a visit.
Time to pay her a visit as a coffee salesman.
Hi, Gus. You know who this is?
Hi? Is that Hank? Hank Lomi?
I guess that's not the way to do it.
Arthur Oliver. How could you confuse us?
Oh, boy, Arthur! Oh, sorry, mate. It's been a long time.
Should have gone
How's
direct.
tricks?
Very briefly, no wife, no kids, in a foreign country, and with a troublesome past. I'm on a case in London.
And with a troublesome
Oh.
past.
Yeah, precisely. Look, I know you've retired, and I don't want to drag you into this. I was only thinking that your computer-like brain might not have totally erased all the data from Scotland Yard.
That's classified material, Arthur. If you ask about it, I'll have to hang up.
No, chill out. I mean information that was in the public sphere, and only slightly police-related. You had it all.
Alright.
Okay, shoot. As long as it's nothing sensitive, I might be able to help.
You know what, Gus? You sound different. Sort of calmer than I remember.
Yeah, some of the
Let's
boys
earn back
mentioned
some
it.
of that trust.
I think I'm just more relaxed. Tomatoes don't raise your pulse as much.
That was a big change, wasn't it? From the pandemonium of the homicide division to a peaceful retirement?
Oh, that's
Yup,
good.
It was a bit of a shock. No phones ringing, no...
Like being on...
Yeah, to begin with. After 2 weeks, though, I started to go crazy. I was waiting for them to call and say it was a mistake.
Uh-huh.
Margot and I sometimes go and bet on the horses. Now that's excitement. Different, but strong as hell.
Thanks. For now, the moments when I've got nothing to sweeten my coffee with are enough.
So, blood pressure normal? And sugar is white death. Give it up. Anything else?
George
I came
McCloud.
across this guy...
Listen, Arthur. I've always liked you, and I want to help, but you need to give me a little...
Well,
No, that's not what I mean. You need to give me a little...
I see. You still like whiskey?
Do I? Apart from Margot, my tomatoes, and the horses, it's the only thing keeping me alive.
Dude likes to drink.
Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't say no to a nice bottle of 25-year-old Johnny Walker.
Great.
Jenny
So,
Walker.
What were you
Jenny
asking
Walker.
again? McFowl. Of course I do. What do you want to know? Case, you said.
What do you mean?
Imagine the scene. A boy beats up a girl
Oof.
on school grounds so badly the headmaster has to react. The parents are afraid and are worried about the hooligan. Then his father enters the fray, an important type, wealthy, wants to sort things out. So he pays for a few things, a new playground, some holidays for the poorer kids. The bruises heal, the affair dies down.
The hooligan was Richard Kersey? A friend of his. Wait, the
No,
father
that's
was
interesting.
Lionel Kersey? He wanted to hush it up?
You're breaking up, Arthur.
Okay, I get it. And what about McFowl? Is he anywhere in the case notes?
Ooh.
If I remember well, no.
Parents covering up
Maybe
for
they
their
had
kids in
nothing
school.
on him. But he's a wily old fox.
What do you mean?
The guy is well known in London. Supposedly a businessman, but he's a chancer. He opens 5 businesses, 4 close within 6 months, and so on year after year. Lots of his partners have tried to pin something on him, but apart from the first time
Shady.
round, nothing sticks.
First time?
McFadden McFall has been doing his business from the very beginning. For one
Shady
scan,
business
he was
practice.
fired. Museum or a theater, I don't quite recall. I do remember, though, that the papers wrote about his hysterics in court. It was a bit of an affair in the 80s. You'll find out about it easily enough.
Is that all?
Oh, I'm sure it's not. After all, I was in homicide, whereas the only thing McFall killed was a series of businesses. Fraud Squad is another division. Different people. Not for me.
Thanks, Gus. You've helped me a lot. I never thanked you for helping me, Gus. Back there in the port. It was you who found me, wasn't it?
Give it a rest, Arthur. There's nothing to talk about. Kersey died on the spot.
I called you from the hospital. Some woman said you'd gone out for a moment to the garage and would be back soon.
No way! Jill told me someone had called, but that they didn't leave a number. It was you!
Damn it, Gus. You remember even details like that? You took hundreds of calls.
Oh.
I remember July 16th, 2010, Arthur.
Uh-huh. Picture, you said?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. All I know is the Kerseys had some family paintings. It was wrapped up...
It showed a landscape of a coffee plantation harvest time or something
Ooh, we
like
found
that.
something interesting.
It was wrapped up like a present. You think it was for someone at the docks?
I'll try to find out. Thanks, Gus. Thanks for everything. I need to check the investigation board. Now I need to set the new clues and data on the board.
Put all the new clues. Connections graph. Interesting. All right. All right. Oh, we're ready for the meeting. I think. Great. Special fondness for the Hagen Gothenburg. Aim for my visit.
Good morning, Miss Gamelquist. My name's Arthur Oliver, and I represent one of the Kersey's companies.
Good morning, Mr. Oliver. Would you like a coffee?
All right, she liked that.
That's funny. I was about to propose the same thing. We're offering an exceptional variety of black coffee in attractive, personalized packaging at a very good price for our first partners.
We've got 31 varieties of coffee in our range, 6 of which we only introduced in the last quarter. I was offering you a cup of our 27, our current bestseller. Can you see where this is leading?
Yes. Well, no, actually.
She has a lot of coffee.
I don't know. Give me a clue?
What do we need another coffee for, Mr. Oliver?
Not just any other coffee, Miss Gamelquist. In order to convince you, I've brought a sample with me. It's been roasted by our master roaster at 270 degrees Celsius. It has 40 milligrams of caffeine per 100 grams and a perfect balance of acidity and bitterness.
Sounds nice, actually.
Liquid fuel.
I appreciate your brevity in preparation. Okay, Mr. Oliver, let's give this marvel a try. Who knows? Maybe it will knock our 27 off the podium.
All right.
I guess
Gothenburg?
that while living in Gothenburg, you regularly visited the famous coffee houses in Haga.
From time to time. They're very popular, and they do serve great coffee.
Oh, yes. I had occasion to try it while there on business. I also came across that famous cinnamon bun there, the Hagabullen. Did I remember it well?
Buns, Mr. Oliver. Coffee houses. Please get to the point. I have a board meeting in a moment.
All right.
I do like your
bracelet.
That snake, is it a symbol of eternity?
I wish. It was a present from an old friend.
Ooh.
Well, good luck then.
What for?
That you renew that friendship. If you're still wearing it, there's still hope, right?
That's
Ooh.
nice, Mr. Oliver. Thanks.
You have the same photo.
The same?
I saw it in Joseph Van Haven's office.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yes,
nice
he
setup.
was extremely concerned about Richard's disappearance.
That's touching. He managed to tell you that before he himself went missing.
That's amazing.
It does make
What a
you
coincidence.
think. It's true. And what do you think about Kersey's disappearance?
I have no idea, Mr. Oliver. Doing business with the Kerseys can be both profitable and destructive, in numerous ways. Maybe Richard got under someone's skin again.
Ooh, again.
Did you have any bad business with him?
Richard had a lot of crazy ideas after we graduated.
Is that how you met? Student business?
What does that have to do with anything, Mr. Oliver? Are you selling coffee or leading an investigation?
Forgive me, just curious. I like to know. It makes it easier to make the right decision.
And what decision of yours has anything to do with knowing about me and Kersey?
She's very guarded.
Well, for example, not to irritate you with such questions. Okay, let's talk about coffee.
Okay. We were introduced by Amanda, now Mrs. Van Haven. Now, what about that coffee?
Amanda is Mrs. Van Haven. Okay, okay. She's not going to be interested about my company history.
Miss Gammelqvist, our product is truly excellent, but we both know that isn't enough nowadays, right?
Carry on.
So we can add a unique
likes it.
marketing strategy, personalized packaging and gadgets, creative but cheap to make, and they'll fit inside standard packs. And thanks to that, the logistics costs stay low, and a more interesting product will hit the shelves. What do you think?
I'm curious about
I
these
see
gadgets.
you've thought this through well. The idea is interesting, but I'd like to see an example of something you've done before. Can you do that?
Of course, I'll make sure you receive a sample.
Thanks. We do actually have tried and tested suppliers, but none of them came forward with such an idea. Such extras could turn out to be a real boon for your company.
Before we enter into an agreement, I'd like to know about the precise guidelines concerning supplies. We like to consider everything in advance. It makes our lives a lot easier and frees you up from overseeing a new partner.
I like your approach.
Good sales
Anything that makes
tactics.
life easier is welcome. I should warn you, though, that there will still be the occasional spot check.
She's softening up.
Naturally, it's always good to make a good first impression. Otherwise, how could we then strengthen them?
We shall see, Mr. Oliver. We shall see.
Karate success.
Miss Gammelqvist, if the Sorote brand is built on specialists as good as you are, its success is scarcely surprising. I hope I get the chance to learn from watching how you work.
Sorote's success is, above all, based on a good plan and persistence in carrying it out. Of course, having the right people is key, both in-house as well as business partners.
You know, if you
That's a
listen
subject for a different discussion, though.
or read
Let's
between the
discuss
lines,
the contract.
you're gonna get a lot of business insights here. Okay, so we managed to increase it to this. Production quantity 22, contract duration 15 weeks. Check, make the offer.
Your offer is extremely interesting, Mr. Oliver. Interesting enough for me to, as an exception, offer you a small starting bonus. What would you say to receiving priority in our supply schedule? All I need is this discount.
Oof. Yeah.
Thanks. I'm sure that's an advantage for companies that don't deliver on time, and I know that that's very important for Cerote. But we always deliver on time, so it doesn't really offer us much, so I can't give such a large discount. Now, if we were talking about this discount...
I've taken the liberty of checking how well you meet your deadlines. I'll say this, it's not bad, but you're only just starting out and there's little to measure you against. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, though, because late deliveries are a nightmare for logistics.
That's true.
So, I'll come down to this discount.
Promotion plans.
How about this, then? Instead of haggling over percentage points like with other suppliers, why don't we make use of the creativity of our marketing department for our mutual benefit? Discounts don't build a brand identity, but unique freebies and a good campaign do. We can take that on and still offer this discount.
That's not enough, Mr. Oliver. Colourful promises like that might work on small shopkeepers. I'm interested.
Scale, alright.
Absolutely. The customer will drink your coffee in a designer, ecological, biodegradable mug with an embossed logo on it. A visual, personalized connection to the name. For example, the Swedish market would get a simple design in natural colors. Take this discount, and let's start the campaign rolling.
Not bad, but a mug is just a lure. Cerote's freebies need to be part of our product philosophy and say more about us than just we want to sell coffee. Producing separate mugs for every country we sell in would bankrupt you. Reconsider the offer along with this discount.
Maybe you're right. Lots of promotional mugs do nothing but hold bureaus. The problem is, it's my boss's idea, and it's hard to persuade him to change it. All I can do is offer a slightly larger discount.
If you independently negotiate a beneficial contract, it's sure to be noticed. Let's leave the matter of promotions to one side for a moment. I prefer to focus on the numbers because a good product defends itself. I'll sign right away if I get this discount. Make your mind up quickly. In a few moments, I have to inspect the warehouse and they won't let you in there. Is that your final offer?
No, there's no discussing her. It's accept the 14 is fine.
Don't worry about that. When necessary, I can blend into the background. And now, it's your time to shine. I accept your offer. Let's get to work.
$77% of maximum price is good.
I should sum up what happened after that meeting.
Okay. Oh no. Not this again.
Britt wasn't talkative, but I have one or two facts. She was the last to join the group of friends from uni. She confirmed the bad opinion of Richard and the Kerseys in general. You could get rich with him, but you could also rapidly lose a lot.
It's like, there's so much you have to do to keep up with the facade of being a business owner that you're like, oh right. I'm here to actually do the investigation. But most of the time you're keeping up the appearance of being a coffee producer. It's the most businessy detective ever.
For some reason, she wasn't keen on Joseph. She didn't even mention Amanda and Catherine.
Dude's turning into a salesman just because he needs to solve a case.
On greeting her, I spotted her bracelet with the engraving. In the small heart by the snake were the initials RK, I think.
Rich kid?
A present from an old friend? I don't doubt it. We spoke briefly
Smart.
because Britt was weighing her words. I had the feeling she knew a lot more but wasn't ready to open up.
Dude has a sharp eye.
As I was standing by the door, someone phoned her. I discreetly slowed my pace.
To iceberg level slow.
The mother's nurse, Britt's mother, wanted to tell her about some disturbing symptoms. But I was more intrigued by the RK on Britt's bracelet. Did it refer to Richard? Perhaps they'd had an affair. Who would know?
Who indeed?
I decided it was worth asking Clarabelle. She was shocked. But she wasn't having any of it. That's impossible. Would Britt have then testified against my father? Precisely. Would she? The file was classified, and Clarabelle didn't remember the details of the case.
That's
Perhaps
our
I
client.
should ask Britt's mother. It's a long shot, but if I can persuade the nurse to let me in, I could ask the old lady about her daughter and Richard.
Maybe if you didn't look like you're gonna flash people while they're in their house, you'd be more trustworthy.
Nothing doing. A servant told me Britt's mother was in an old people's home. Chestnut and Oak Hall has the top specialists in senile dementia.
Oh no. You can trust their testimony. They're in there for dementia.
She let me in, though, and when I stopped near the old lady's dressing table, she said, "Can you believe it? You can still smell her favorite coffee-scented cosmetics."
There's coffee scented cosmetics. I mean, I feel
That
like
gave me an
that's
idea. I bought a standard set of Cofiel.
a thing now. Profile. Oh, the
And
coffee
made my way
cosmetics.
to meet Auntie Gamelkvist. The banknote discreetly hidden in the palm of my hand was enough for security to realize we were related. She'll be very pleased to see you.
A banknote in my hand is the only ID I need to tell you
Need to
that
check
I
the
am
investigation
the
board.
son. What? That was it?
Now I need to set the new clues and data on the board.
We will connect these clues when we get back. Yeah? For now, I'm more worried about production and the orders, matching orders. 6. Sounds fair, sounds fair. 22 classic premium. Alright. There's so much that I have to do to keep up, discover. You don't need to do that anymore. Manage the contract. What? And one more. 20 hours for... I may need to hire another person. I can only have 4 staff. Let's see, 29 hours, 15 hours, 29 hours. How many hours does it need? 20. How many hours do you have? 15. Alright, that's fine. Alright, good. Let's check it out. Ooh, so much. Even nice way to end the stream with 69,000 GBP in cash. Alright, I want to thank you guys for joining me on this ride. We'll see if we're gonna be continuing this one. It's a weird detective game where I'm running a coffee business. I didn't realize I'd be learning so much about sales techniques from this game, but here we are. Thanks to the supporters and the regulars, Simple Farmer, Rian. Thanks for the coffee support. For keeping me here. Ironic, Sushi, Seraphic Charm, the usuals, Dinkelberger. Thanks, you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Next up should be Co-op Fridays, and I'll see if Ironic's gonna be in to doing more of that Remnant game, or we'll be trying something new. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon. I hope you had fun. You have a good day now. Bye-bye.